guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to today's video. Today we are reviewing the Flower Nose Little Angel collection. This is a Little Angel 2.0 because a few years back they did come out with a Little Angel collection, and this is sort of like the revamp. And you guys, I'm seriously so excited to review this for you because every time Flower Nose comes out with a new collection, I always ask myself, like, how is Flower Nose going to top their previous collection? Because their previous collection was literally perfection, and time again they always amaze me with their concepts, the detail, the packaging. I am literally obsessed. Like, this collection, guys, might have to be my favorite in terms of the details. Like, it's literally a work of art, and I'm so excited to share the full collection with you. As you can see next to me, I do have the dresser, which means I did get sent the full collection in PR. I actually don't have every single product, but I pretty much do have everything, and I'm excited to share my thoughts on everything. We got a lot of new formulas, just everything you need to know about this collection we will talk about today. I got 3 looks, comparisons, swatches. So with that being said, it's going to be a long video. Grab a snack, grab a drink, and let's go ahead and get started with the review. I feel like a lot of you guys are probably gonna ask, oh, where is my headband from? It's just from AliExpress, but I thought it was so perfect for this collection. When the collection was revealed, a few of the models was wearing headbands similar to this, so it is very big, and I will say it's not the most comfortable thing. I will probably start getting a headache soon from this, but I'll do it for the video. With that being said, guys, this video is going to be a long one, so there is going to be timestamps. If you want to skip to a certain section, you just want to know about the new formulas or whatnot, feel free to skip ahead. Timestamps all around, but I always like to get started with just a collection breakdown because Flower Nose collections are on the bigger side. There's just so many products, it can be confusing what's inside. So with that being said, let's break it down and let's talk about the elephant in the room, the dresser right next to me. The dresser, once again, is so beautiful, and there's a creamy ivory white. It has some embossment on the actual dresser as well, and I'm calling it a dresser, but it's more so like a, I guess, jewelry box or a makeup box. So with that being said, it has a rose gold hardware, and you will see the rose gold hardware throughout the entire collection. We have the little angel detail there as well, and I feel like this dresser is better for displaying makeup, where the previous dressers, I feel like they're actually quite good for storing makeup because there are the drawers, where this one technically only has 3 layers, and it's good to display, especially how it opens. Like, that's very pretty. So when you open it up, there is a mirror inside, and you do have that first shelf, and then you have a one bottom shelf that does slide out, and then actually underneath there is room on the bottom that you can put products there. So I would consider this dresser to be 3 layers, and because the drawer is clear, you still can see the product underneath. The dresser, like usual, is only available for purchase when you buy the entire collection, which the entire collection is $699 USD. All the prices I'm going to be mentioning is going to be in USD. I feel like that's just a bit more universal. If I say New Zealand dollars, people are going to be like, girl, you are getting ripped off. And yes, $700 is so much money, but you are getting 39 products along with the makeup, the dresser, and a few extra goodies in there as well. And if you do want to save a bit of money on Flower Nose, my code is always there for you. It is just my name, Judy, at checkout. That will give you a little saving. And just to let you know, of course, that that code is affiliate, which means I do earn a small commission, but thank you in advance for choosing to shop with my code. Out of all the codes that are out there, I really do appreciate it. But with that being said, let's dive into the collection a little bit more. So we do have some base products. We first have their hydrating repair lip mask. That's $15. We also got a dewy hydrating primer. This is $35. And then onto the makeup, we have 2 9-color eyeshadow palettes, $45 USD each. Then we got some cream blushes. There are 5 shades in total, $26. 4 embossed highlighters that are $30 each. And then we of course have the lip products. These are matte lipsticks in 9 different shades, $20 US each. And then onto the little bits and bobs, of course we have the handheld mirrors in 3 different colors. These are $25 each. And then also 2 blush brushes, $15 each, 2 hair clips, $8, and then we have the empty gift box, which I sadly did not receive with this collection. I wish I would have gotten it because it's so pretty and it's just a nice little way to have your products come in. There's also a sticker pack for $3, and then we also have some little puffs. So the first puff is the finger cushion powder puff, which is $5, and this works really great with the cream blushes, which I will talk about a little bit later on. We also have the mini powder puffs that are $5, but you get 2 inside, and that's the same powder puff that was in the Swan Ballet collection. So with that being said, that is the full Little Angel collection. There are perfumes as well. From what I can see, it seems like that's not going to be available for the global release, and also if you do purchase like the full collection, it does come with a cup as well. So there's a few little extra bits and bobs in the full collection, but these are the products that you can buy individually. So that was a lot of products, right? A quick little breakdown for you. Let's get started with the review. As you guys may know, I like to go in order of application when I review. It just works out better in my head. So we're actually gonna start off with the like base prep products. So let's first talk about the cute little hydrating repair lip mask. The packaging itself is really pretty. Imagine just having this in your handbag and like putting your lip balm on. That's super cute. I know it's a lip mask, but this formula is a little bit more thinner, so I would consider it to be sort of like a liquid lip balm. It's very hydrating and it does give you a nice like shine on the lips, so you could even pair this with a lip liner and you could act it as like a clear gloss just to keep your lips hydrated throughout the day. I think it's a really nice product. I wouldn't say it's like my favorite lip balm lip mask. I personally like something a little bit thicker, but for something in the morning just to like prep your lips while you're putting the rest of your makeup on, I think it's a really great product. And again, the packaging is super cute. So yeah, this is a really cute product. Is it a must? No, but I mean, if you need like a little bit more for free shipping or something, or you want to get like free gifts, I think it's a nice thing to just add in, and you definitely will get your use out of it. Then let's talk about the Dewy Hydrating Primer. First, let's just give a moment for the packaging, because this is seriously the most stunning primer I have ever seen in my life. Like this cap, literally the details, like I cannot with the details. It's so stunning. Even the tub itself and this like crystal detail, it's so pretty. Like once I'm done with this primer, I'm gonna clean this out and repurpose it. Like just this on my vanity, you know, this could store my little earrings or hair ties, or I could reuse it for my face creams or anything. Like this is not going into recycle, like no way. But let's talk about the actual primer. So when this first announced and we saw that there's going to be a primer, to me I was thinking it was going to be something like the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Cream, where it's like a moisturizer, but then I got it in person, and you guys, this texture is very interesting. It's literally like jelly or like silicone. I could hold it upside down and the product won't come out. Like it's literal jelly. So in my head I was like, okay, this feels very silicone-y, so I feel like it's going to fill in my pores and like mattify me. But obviously you heard the name of the primer, it's a dewy hydrating primer. The way you could think about this primer is that when it blends into your skin, it feels like a gel type moisturizer, and it's going to give you that hydration. It's going to give you that glass skin. It is super dewy, and you guys know I like to be matte, but I feel like once my powder is done and everything, it does give me like a nice glow underneath my makeup, which is fine. And I feel like it does work really great as a base. Like my skin is hydrated. I feel like when my makeup goes on top, it sits really well on top. I have no issues with that. But with that being said, do I feel like you need this? No, because I think you can get that result, that like hydrated, moisturized result with your skincare. Is it a product that I'm like screaming at you like you have to have it? No, because I feel like with primers, a lot of it you don't really need, in my opinion. You can definitely just get it from your skincare in the morning. And before we start talking about the makeup, I always want to give attention to the packaging and the little details, because I think Flower Nose puts so much effort into that it's a waste not to talk about it. So I just want to show you the outer box. Like, this is what it's going to come in, and this is the color story that you're going to see throughout the collection in terms of packaging. So we have the black, and then a light baby blue, and then the pink. So this is like the colorway that we're gonna see. I think it's super pretty, and of course I just wanted to point that out. But with that being said, let's talk about the actual makeup. Let's start off with the 9 color eyeshadow palette. There are 2 of these palettes, and guys, again, the packaging, it's so stunning. Like, I could stare at this the whole day, and when it's in the sun, it just glistens and you can see the holographic detail to it. So the first palette, Eden's Angel, is in the light baby blue packaging, and then we have Weeping Angel, which is in the black packaging. You do have a mirror on the side, and then the 9 colors are there, which are in the most prettiest shaped pans. It looks like Van Cleef. I think it's called like Motif, maybe. I'm not sure if I'm correct on that. That clover shape that Van Cleef is known for. And not only the pan shape is beautiful, but the actual pan embossment, it has little baby cupids like flying on it. It's so pretty. Flower Nose knows what they're doing. So with that being said, let's talk about the first palette, which is the palette that I'm currently wearing. And let me just break down my look for you. So I first took a mixture of the 2 muted pinks, and I used that as my transition shadow. Just sweep that all over my lid, blended that up into my crease, and then I also took that onto my lower lash line as well. Then I'm taking the lighter brown, but it's still quite medium dark, and I'm using that at the outer corners of my eyes just to deepen out the look and give definition to my eyes. I also take that onto my lower lash line as well, but with a defining brush, and again just focusing that at the outer corner. Then we're taking the rose gold shimmer shadow, and this is so pretty. I love Flower Nose shimmer shadows. The way it just glistens, and the amount of micro glitters in here is literally insane. Like, you can see how much that sparkles. But we are going to go into that shadow right next to it. We're going to use that at the inner third and also the inner corners, and I'm also going to like drag it along into my crease line just to really highlight my eye shape. And this one sparkles like 10 times more. Like, it's crazy how much it sparkles. It's definitely like a silvery reflect, but it has a slight blue tint to it, which gives it a little bit more dimension, and it's just very, very pretty. Like, this in the inner corner, wow, like just wow. But then I'm gonna take a matte eyeliner just to brighten up my egg cell on my lower lash line, and I'll go in with the final shimmer shadow. This one's a little bit more satin-like. Don't get me wrong, it still has that shimmer in it, but it's not as intense as the previous 2 that we used. But essentially that is my look using Eden's Angel. I love how this look turned out. I love the muted neutral tone to the look, and I've actually been using this palette a lot ever since receiving the collection. And with this whole collection, I've actually had a lot of time to play with it. Usually when I review, I'm reviewing as I'm filming, so typically I only use the products maybe like once or twice, but with this collection I feel like I've used everything at least more than 2 times, which I know doesn't sound a lot, but considering I only had 2 weeks to play with everything, this palette I've been literally using every single time I wear my makeup, because I've been looking for a sort of neutral cool tone palette that is not gray, and this palette I feel like was just speaking to me. I love the ratio of mattes to shimmers, because the thing with like Chinese makeup, I feel like they just get me. With their ratios of eyeshadow, they definitely always add in more mattes than shimmers, and don't get me wrong, I love my shimmers, but I don't think you need that much in a palette. Personally, I'm like a matte girl. I feel like if you have more mattes, you just have more options, and the shimmers are just to enhance the mattes. You know what I mean? So this 6:3 ratio is literally perfect, and the colors are just so pretty and so muted. Like, that's how I can describe it. Muted neutrals. But you know, with the pinks, like, they have a bit of warmth in there, but it's not too warm. And when I first initially saw this palette and this collection, it looked a lot brighter and lighter on the photos, but I'm actually quite happy how like muted and soft glam it is. And the rose gold, you guys know how I feel about rose gold, so I just love this palette. I've been using it every day, and I think out of this entire collection, this is the one product that I know I'm gonna be using constantly. It literally might be my new Sweet Canelli's eyeshadow palette. And I feel like if you also have been looking for a neutral, muted, cool tone palette with a hint of pinks in there, I think you would love it. The shimmers are absolutely stunning. Like, what can I say about this formula? I love everything about it. The mattes perform so well, so buttery, pigmented, blend out so easily. The shimmers, you saw it, lots of glimmer, micro glitters. If you love the Urban Decay Moon Dust eyeshadow, you will love Flower Nose one probably 10 times more, because it's literally that on steroids. Like, it's so impactful, but then you also have that satin metallic to like balance everything out. Then to talk about the second palette, Weeping Angel, this color story definitely is a little bit more fun and vibrant. There's a lot more colors, but you also have a hint of your browns and a bit of pink in there that ties it in all together. And the way that these palettes are laid out, so there are 3 shimmers on top and then the mattes are on the bottom, and with the shimmers in both palettes, so you will get 2 shimmers that are like that intense, ultra glittery, super dimensional shimmer shadows, and then you will have a 1 shimmer that's a little bit more metallic like. So with this palette, the metallic like one is the darker navy. The gold and the silver is like that intense shimmery shadow. It's so pretty. But you guys, okay, I need to take you on a journey with this palette, because I went on a journey. So first, what happened is that, you know, I always like to film one eye off a camera, so I know what I'm doing, I know which brushes I'm using, and then I can change into my outfit to match and yada yada, and then I'll film on this side, my good side, for you guys. So while I was filming my look, the first look, I will say I did use a different primer, and this primer more so is just for priming the eyes so the shadows don't crease, but it doesn't actually have a lot of color and base to it where it enhances any color that goes on top. It's quite sheer, you still can see my skin underneath, so I think that was my first mistake. So if you are using this palette, make sure you are using a good primer that's good for color enhancing. So the one that I usually use is the Kaleidos Tone Activator. That works perfectly. Or even concealer would work as well. So with this colorful palette, you definitely need to use a good primer for it, because it's going to look pretty patchy and a little blotchy, and the shadows are just not going to perform. Like the blue, the metallic blue, I applied it with my finger and it would not budge. Like it wouldn't blend out, which a metallic shadow usually will blend out because it's so smooth. But for some reason, like it was not budging. I was like trying to blend it out with my brush and it just wasn't working. So I took that off and then I used my Kaleidos eye primer and retried. And let me just show you the look before I say anything. So first went in with the light purple as my all over transition shadow and just as the base, and it did go on a little bit better, but I feel like it still was looking a little bit patchy. But I did take that onto my lower lash line as well. Then I took the darker purple and I'm focusing this at the outer corners of my eyes. I feel like when I was layering this on top of the previous matte, something about it, it was just clashing. It just wasn't going on as well as I wanted it to. And I also did take that onto my lower lash line as well, just at the outer corner. And then taking the baby blue, I'm focusing this at the inner third of my eyes. And again, with the layering of the matte, they just weren't sitting on top of each other as well for some reason. And this blue, towards the end, it like kind of oxidizes and it ended up looking like a purple at the final look. I took the shimmer shadow right at the top, and guys, I feel like this saved this look because this shimmer is so intense. It's literally so pretty. Like look at the dimension on there. I'm placing that at the center of my eyes, and then I also did take the Swan Ballet number 3 glitter. just to highlight the center of my lower lash line, just to pull everything together. At the end, I like how it turned out, but I feel like something was off and like something was missing. I didn't love it, okay? I didn't love it, and my thoughts on this palette at that point, I was like, it's not the vibe. Like, this is not Flower Nose quality that I'm used to. But then the next day, I wasn't actually planning to film with the palette again, but I needed to film b-roll shots of me applying the blue highlighter. So I was like, let me just do a blue look, let me try this palette out again, but let me do what I normally do. Let me do my normal technique with my looks. I always try to look online for inspiration and try to do different techniques for you guys, because I've been filming looks for a long time, and you know, I feel like they can get a little bit repetitive because there's only so many techniques you can do on an eye look, right? But every time I do like my usual technique, I'm like, is this too boring? Like, is this too repetitive? I was like, no, just do what you normally do the colors you want to do. Don't think about using all the colors or maximizing the palette. Just do you, boo. And I did me, and I liked the look so much more. I actually don't know where I stand with this palette. I feel like it's a palette that has potential and it needs love. Let me just show you my second look. So I took the baby blue as my transition and a base color, and essentially this look is the same technique that I did for the first look with Eden's Angel. Then I'm going in with the darkest brown, and I mixed a little bit of that dark purple just so we could get a hint of purple in there, but it's mostly a darker brown at my outer corners, and this layered on so well on top. Like, for some reason, like, it looks really, really good. And then I also took that onto my lower lash line as well for more definition. And then, guys, I went into the navy metallic shadow, and you remember the first time I played with it, like, it wouldn't budge, it wouldn't move. But applying this with a brush and just tapping it onto the eye, it gives a really nice, like, satin sheen, and this goes on really well. I feel like it blended so nicely into the matte at the outer corner, so I really didn't have any issues with it this time around for some reason. I think it's just finding different ways to apply it. Like, it really does make such a big difference. So that was really pretty at the center of my eye. Then I took like my favorite shadow from this palette, literally that one on top. I put that at the inner third of my eyes, and it's that explosive shimmery shadow that has so many micro glitters that glimmers and sparkles through, and when you put this in your inner corner, it's brightening, it's highlighting, it's seriously so pretty, and the tint of this is actually really nice as well. I don't know if I'm rambling too much or I'm giving too much detail, I don't know. But if you're looking at these two palettes, right, and if you don't play with a lot of color, but you saw Weeping Angel and you love this top color here, so I would describe this to be like a silvery blue. It's actually very similar to the silvery blue in Eden's Angel. They definitely are not the same, but I feel like they give a very similar effect on the eyes. So I would recommend getting Eden's Angel, especially with, you know, had a bit of issues with the mattes in here. I mean, they definitely are workable, but you need to figure that out. Whereas I feel like there's like a lot of other colorful palettes that I have in my collection that I'm really happy with. Although I did love how my final look turned out, like that blue look. Literally probably my favorite blue look ever to date. It took some time to get there. You know what I mean? You guys get what I'm saying? So I'll leave it at that because I feel like I'm just talking in circles now. Then moving along, next in the collection we have the cream blushes. So there are 5 shades in total, and each blush has a different color packaging on the cover. Again, absolutely stunning. You have 3 little cupids flying around a iridescent flower, which is very, very pretty. And the shape of the compact itself is in that Clover Van Cleef shape. And you guys, the embossment on these blushes, seriously, it's I keep saying it's a work of art, but it literally is a piece of art, because just look at all of the detail there. When you guys get this blush, okay, like make sure you get all the photos or the videos before you start using it, because this product literally was the hardest to use. I feel like with Flower Nose, it's always hard to like get into the product because you don't want to ruin the embossment, but this one is literally the worst, because once you just touch it, the embossment is gonna be gone, and over time that whole embossment, the more you use it, the more it's just going to disappear. Just keep that in mind. I mean, you still got the pretty packaging on the outside, but the embossment itself is going to be gone, and I've been tackling putting it on the side so I don't completely ruin it. But honestly, once you start using it, you're gonna get over it because the blush is that good. You're gonna want to use the blush. That's the thing. Okay, this blush, oh, when I used it for the first time, I was blown away. Because with me, the reason why I don't like cream blushes, like, first off, I'm not really a cream product girl. I like to be matte. I like my powder. But a lot of the times with cream blushes, even if I'm wearing it as like a base blush, it always looks patchy on my skin for some reason. I will use a brush, I will use a sponge, and there's very few cream blushes that don't look patchy on me and that I actually like and layers really nicely underneath my powdered product. But it's very few products, you know. So when I first used this, I was shook. Okay, you have to use it with the cushion puff, the one that you can purchase for $5 off Flower Nose. I mean, this kind of cushion puff you can get really cheap off AliExpress if you want to go that route, but you gotta use it with this puff, because I used this blush with a sponge and with a brush and it just didn't give the same effect. With this magical special little puff, like, it applies so evenly and it has the right amount of pigment. Like, these definitely are more buildable blushes. What you see in the pan is not gonna be directly translated, but you definitely can build it up to that. But I would say it's more of like a light wash of what you see in the pan. But with this puff, it gives you such a nice like soft blur effect, but the finish of it is like satin to matte, but it's like a nice blur on the cheeks. If there's a color within the 5 that you like guys, hop on it. This is another product that I've been using every single time I do my makeup ever since I got the collection. So the eyeshadow palette in Eden's Angel and at least one of these blushes depending on my look, and I will still go on top of that after I set my face in. And you really can't see it at the end, but I think it works really great as a base blush. Blush just looks so blended. So blended, so diffused on my cheek. This cream blush, literally probably my favorite cream blush formula. But I also gotta say, I haven't tried a lot of cream blushes because I haven't been the biggest fan of it, so like my knowledge on cream blush is like kind of small. But for a person that doesn't like cream blushes, this gotta be my favorite one that I've used so far. Like, literally, oh, I'm in love. Okay, so with that being said, let's talk about the 5 shades. There was a bit of confusion with shade 1 and 2 because if you initially saw the release on Little Red or by any Chinese creator, their Asia release for shades 1 and 2 is different from their global release shades 1 and 2. So they actually made 1 and 2 for their global release a bit more darker and brighter. I guess that's them taking on the feedback that they need to improve their shade range. And although this is like a small improvement, I think it's still a good improvement. It shows that they are listening to their customers and to the feedback that they are receiving. So the first blush we have here is called Flaming Heart, and this is in the all white packaging, and it's described to be a sunburnt blush. And I definitely would agree, like, it has that terracotta orange undertone to it, but it's slightly a little bit pink as well. I think it's very, very pretty. Definitely, I would say probably the deepest one out of the 5. I also do want to note that some of the blushes did come with cracking. I mean, it's not really such a big deal because once you do use it, that cracking you probably can mend together. But I guess when you do receive it, just be aware that not all of my blushes came with cracks, but some of them did. Then we have number 2 in Floral Praise, and this comes in the pink packaging, which probably would have to be my favorite. I'm just a pink girl. But the shade inside is a hot Barbie pink. This is so pretty and I feel like so in right now. It doesn't go on as vibrant and hot pink. I think it's such a pretty color and it's so much brighter than the rest. I feel like Flower Nose, usually their blushes definitely go a little bit more muted, but it's nice to see them do something a little bit brighter, and this pink is so gorgeous, like so pretty. Then next we have number 3. This is called Paradise Poet, and this is described to be a fig and peach pink shade. In the pan it does look a bit more peachy, but it has that like slight undertone of pink in there. I feel like it's really perfect for the year of the peach fuzz. If you just want like a daily warm tone blush, this is the color for you. Like, guys, how pretty is this peachy color? Peachy pink. We love a peachy pink. But then we move along into number 4, Rose Ashes, and this is in the all black packaging. I feel like the black packaging is really pretty because the iridescent underneath it really does stand stand out. And the blush is described to be a creamy rosy brown. I feel like on me it's definitely more of a pinky mauve. This one definitely is my favorite. It's the blush that I was wearing today underneath my powder blush, which on top I'm wearing my other favorite flower nose blush, which is Unripe Peach. This blush itself is so pretty, okay? I feel like for all of my neutral lovers that love a good pink blush, this gives you such a pretty like cool mauvey blush on the cheeks, and it just looks so good. Like it's just the perfect base layer, and then you can go on with any blush on top to do mid-tone blushing. Like it is just so pretty. Like this one would be my favorite. But then onto the last and final blush, we have a number 5 Fingertip Stella, and this is described to be a almond milk brown. I would say out of all of them, yes, this definitely is the most like brownish color, but I feel like this blush would be really great whenever you're doing something a little bit more bold. You just need that like muted neutral brown on your cheeks. This is it. I feel like if you're super pale, you could even use it as like a light warm bronzer. I think this is a really pretty shade as well. I think all the shades overall are super pretty. Now let's talk about the embossed highlighters. Again, let's just have a moment for the packaging because you guys, it's so pretty. There are 4 different shades and all 4 have a different color. Even the hearts as well is like a different color on each of them. And just to note that I only do have 3 of the highlighters because I think there was a little mix up with my package. So I am missing the highlighter in number 2 because I actually received 2 blushes of number 2 blush. So I only have 3 to show you, but the 3 that I have are absolutely stunning. This embossment, the highlighter embossment is my favorite, and you can save it. Like with the cream blushes, once you use it, it's gone. But with this, you can save it. You can just use it from the side and it doesn't even look like it's been used, but you will have this piece of artwork to stare at in the morning when you do your makeup. It's seriously so pretty. And although I personally don't wear highlighter anymore, I was still really looking forward to these because they had a little highlighter in their Chocolate Wonder Shop highlight and contour palette, and I loved that highlighter. It was so pretty, so I was really looking forward to these. So the first highlighter shade is a number 1 Eroy's Fable, and this is described to be a pearl champagne white, and it's actually a replica shade of the Little Angel 1.0 Valentine's limited edition highlighter. So if you guys are like an OG fan, then these shades are actually the same. And this one is the one that I'm currently wearing on my cheeks right now in the speaking portion. It's such a pretty pearly pink. This one out of the 3 that I have definitely is the less intensity. So if you're like me and you don't like a highlighter to be too intense, then you'll probably actually like this one because it gives a nice like sheen to the cheeks. Like I mean, you definitely could build it up, but the initial application, it's very light and glowy, like a glow from within. You could even take a fluffy brush and use this as a blush topper. I will talk about Aloe 2, the one that I don't have. I will just show you photos from online, but this is called Paradise Lost and it's described to be a rose champagne. It's also an upgrade shade from the Little Angel 1.0 collection, so I feel like if you missed out on that, then this is an upgraded version. But then let's talk about LO3, which is Chanting Anthem, and this comes in the peachy pink packaging, which again I love. I think it matches with the rose gold perfectly. But this is described to be a moonlight white. It does go on a little bit more golden on me, and this one compared to the first shade, this is definitely very metallic and blinding. When I think of like a metallic blinding highlighter, I will think of Nikkie Tutorials. Like if you love a Nikkie Tutorials type of highlighter, like that blinding 2016 we got a Facetune on our highlighter, this is the highlighter for you. It does have little glitters in there, but it's not going to be as glittery as the next one. This one definitely leans a little bit more like a metallic highlight, which is definitely my preference of a highlighter. But then let's talk about LO4 Moon River. This is described to be a starry blue violet, and it is a replica shade from the Little Angel 1.0 collection. So if you're familiar with that, this is a replica shade, and the outer packaging I forgot to mention is in, of course, the blue, which is so fitting. And this is a duochrome blush, so some points you'll see violet, some points you will see blue, but I will say for this highlighter, it's definitely a lot more glittery. So if you don't like a super glittery highlighter, then you might not really love it, but I do see that this highlighter probably will be the most popular because it's just so interesting. But personally, out of the three that I have, I would actually rank this one number 3 in my personal opinion, just because I have highlighters from Kaleidos or ODEN'S and Game Beauty. They have a lot of colored highlighters that with their formula I actually love so much more. They're a little bit more metallic, they're not too glittery. I think Kaleidos, they just owned that category of colored highlighters, of duochrome highlighters. I think they just took that, you know, that's their thing. And if I'm gonna compare, I personally still like the Kaleidos colored highlighters more than this one. I feel like their one is just a little bit more metallic. This one's a little bit too glittery for me. But I mean, if I need that for a makeup look or something, I'm gonna do it. I mean, this you could work as an eyeshadow as well. I always use highlighter as my eyeshadow. And lastly, guys, we are on to the last makeup category. We have the matte lipsticks. And when I tell you, I was so excited for these because you know I love a good matte lip. And you know I love the Cloud lip creams. It's literally my favorite. So I was so excited to see a matte lip product because last time we had more like jelly lips, and I think before that we had glosses. So I was just like ready for some matte lips. I was super excited, and the packaging on this, so pretty, you guys. It is so delicate. It comes in the white, the pink, and the black. And with Flower Nose, as always, they have 9 shades and they like to break it into 3 groups. So the first group will come in the white packaging, and this is more like milk tea, peachy type of shade. And the second group we have is in the pink packaging, which again is my favorite packaging out of them all. And this will be all of the pink shade. And then the final group is in the black packaging, and this is all in taupey brown shades. So they always like to break it up into 3 categories. I guess because I was looking forward to these so much, like my expectation was so high. When you have high expectations and it doesn't deliver as you were expecting, you're gonna be more disappointed than normal, right? So I think that was me in this situation. I was really looking forward to these, and with this formula, guys, it is very buttery, which means it's quite slippery, and these have a lot of pigment. So when I was first testing these out, I would swipe it onto my lip, and that was like already so much product because literally just smacking on butter on your lips, like that's not going to feel good. It's going to feel heavy, it's going to slide around, and that's what this formula does. It clumps up on the inner rim. So I think with this, the best way to apply it is to actually just blot it onto your lip or use a lip brush and apply it, so that takes away some of the product. But even when you do that, it still bunches up in the inner rim just because of the formula. It's just so buttery, like maybe too buttery, too smooth, too creamy, that it just slips and slides around. And I think it's something I definitely probably would wear more so for filming, where like, you know, you're kind of far away from me, it looks good, like a nice blotted matte lip. It's so pretty. Like I'm looking in the mirror and I'm like, from afar it's so pretty, but up close and the way it feels, it just feels a bit too heavy for me, and it does emphasize the dryness of my lips. Maybe I need to exfoliate, not maybe, I do need to exfoliate. But even so, like with the lip creams, I have no issues with my lips looking blotchy or dry or it bunching up on my lip. And again, I'm coming back to my expectation being really high, so I think I'm like even more disappointed about it because I was thinking like this is going to be my new lip formula, you know, but it's not. It's not going to be. It just feels a little too heavy, a bit too thickums on my lips. But I mean, if you wanted to try it, okay, they got really pretty shades. We'll go from there. So from 1 to 3, we have it in the white packaging, and the first shade is called Starry Cross. Out of the first 3 milk tea peachy shades, this one definitely holds the most peachiness. Like you definitely can see that peach throughout it. And again, I feel like it's perfect for the year of the peach fuzz. It's super pretty. I feel like out of the first 3 in the white packaging, Starry Cross would have to be my favorite. Then number 2, we have Fantasia. This one's also really pretty as well. It's still peachy, but it has a little bit more pink in it, and it's also a little bit darker as well, which is also really nice. Then we have number 3. This one is Radiant Seraph. This one is the more like a muted peachy brown out of the first 3, which is still gorgeous as well. And then from shades 3 to 6, it comes in the pink packaging, and these are the pinky shades, and I already knew that this was going to be my category. So with shade number 4, Cupid, it's the shade that I was wearing in the speaking portion, and this is such a pretty My Lips But Better but pink. It's not too vibrant, but it still gives you color. But my absolute favorite would have to be number 5, Acquire, and I already knew that this was going to be my favorite. Typically, I don't know why, always number 5 is my favorite, and Acquire is my favorite. It is that brighter hot pink that I love. It's actually very similar to the lip creams that I really like from Flower Nose. I will do comparisons soon for you, but very similar. Love this color, my favorite. It's the one that I've been using the most out of all of them. And then number 6, we have Lyric Poetry. This one is like your brick red. You can't go wrong with a brick red. Like, that's a classic. And then onto the final 3 shades in the black packaging. This is going to be your taupey nude brown. So starting off with number 7, this is Golden Wheat. This is like the perfect brownish nude. Like, if you love a nude brown, you will love the shade Wheat. But then we move on to number 8, Sand Tower. This is like your taupey brown. It goes a little bit darker, and it's a little bit more cooler tone than the first one, I feel like. And this one is a little bit more neutral, I would say. When I see this kind of color, it's like what cool girls wear. Cool girls can pull off this kind of color, you know? And then the last and final shade is number 9, Dark Angel. This is just your chocolate brown. This is very pretty as well. Like, again, it's giving autumn vibe. Whenever I see like brownish lip colors, I think of autumn. Like, this is so pretty. And again, if you have a deeper complexion, I think this is something you might really like, and it'll be really great as like a gradient lip, just to dab at the inner rim of your lips. So essentially that was all of the makeup in the Little Angel collection 2.0. I quickly wanted to touch base on some of the little extra products that's in the collection, since I only talked about them very briefly in the collection breakdown. So first we have the handheld mirrors. I always get so excited about the handheld mirrors because they're just so pretty, and because I do film, like, you always see it in my videos. So we have it in the white, the black, and the pink. These are gorgeous, so much detail to them, and these are a little bit longer than the Swan Ballet ones from the previous collection, and they do feel very hefty. I feel like the mirrors, honestly, they just get better and better. Like the first ones I got, the unicorn ones, they felt a little bit cheap, but I think we come a long way, and these are like absolutely gorgeous. I think because my favorite color is just pink, so I'm gonna like the pink, and you're probably gonna see this in my videos. I do like the black though, like this really stands out. And then the blush brushes, these are pretty much exactly the same as the Swan Ballet ones, where they have a dome shaped brush and then the jelly tips. So we have the white and black. The only really difference is just the embossment is going to be Little Angel themed, and obviously if you get the Swan Ballet ones, they have a silver handle and it's Swan Ballet themed, but essentially it is the same type of brush, just in different colors. But I like how these are a little bit like more neutral, like the black and the white. The hair clips are really cute too. I like how they are on like this kind of clip. It just makes it easier to attach on. So you get it in the white and pink. If you are buying the cream blushes, please get one of these cushion pads with your order. Like, trust me, the way that it will apply on, it's seriously life-changing. I cannot apply that cream blush with anything else. Like, I have to use this little puff. So this puff I feel like is so worth, or if you just want to purchase off AliExpress, anywhere else, they will have something very similar. It's just like the really puffy ones. And then the little finger puffs, these are really nice too. I like using more of a bigger puff for my powder, but this does come in handy just for like the under eye. But again, it is the same one that came in the Swan Ballet collection. So yeah, that was, I think, everything that I have from the collection. I will now show you guys the comparisons for the products. I think that will be helpful in deciding what you want to get from the collection if anything looks quite similar, because honestly the shades, like especially with the lipsticks, there are a lot of similar shades but just in a different formula. So yeah, hopefully these comparisons are helpful. But with that being said, guys, that essentially does conclude the Little Angel 2.0 review. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. My flower nose videos especially, they take a lot longer to film, to edit, to just plan and everything. It's a one-woman show out here, so if you could, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment. What do you guys think of the collection? What's your favorite product, or what did you pick up? Are you going to pick anything up? Please let me know in the comments. That does conclude today's video. Thank you so much for watching as always. I truly do appreciate it. I love you, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!